Have you ever wondered what it's like to work in law enforcement? Here on Behind the Star, we share stories about the Orange County Sheriff's Office, Central Florida's largest law enforcement agency. From forensics to dispatch to the deputies on patrol, we'll talk to the brave men and women who protect our community. This is Behind the Star, the official podcast of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Welcome to Behind the Star. I am your host, Jon Busdeker, the official storyteller of the Orange County Sheriff's Office. And I'm really excited about today because we are here at the Orange County Courthouse. And if you've ever been here, maybe you got a traffic ticket or maybe hopefully something not worse than that. But we're over here and we're chatting with Sergeant Danielle Batlemento. Thank you for coming on Behind the Star.
Hello.
So we're going to talk all about kind of what happens here at the courthouse and what the deputies over here do. Because I think a lot of people, when you think of the Orange County Sheriff's Office, a lot of people think of, just people that work on patrol or they're out and about. But there's a lot of people that are deputies that work here at the courthouse. There's how many people, Danielle, how many people work here with the Orange County Sheriff's Office?
At the courthouse, as in court security?
Yes.
Probably about 150, give or take.
All right, and that's a huge staff. I mean, that's a huge unit that works over here at the courthouse. And so, like I said, we're going to sort of dive into all that. So before we get too far, I usually start off by asking, Danielle, how did you end up here at the courthouse?
Back in 1994, I went through the police academy. There was a hiring freeze for deputies, and the only available position was here at the courthouse. So just getting out of the academy, wanting to get a job, I started here at the courthouse.
So you started here right after you finished the academy?
Yes.
So you've been here since 1994?
Yes.
Ah, all right. So I'm sure you've seen some changes over the years. We'll get to all of that because I think you mentioned that you started at the older courthouse, which isn't this big building that you see on Orange Avenue. You started at the other one, which I believe is the Orange County History Center?
Yes.
So we'll get to that in a little bit, but why don't you tell people what exactly is a courthouse deputy or courthouse security? What do you guys do over here?
We do security for the building itself, the perimeter. We take care of all the judges. We make sure all the judges are safe, make sure the clerks are safe, the audience, defendants, victims' families. We're in charge of the courtroom. We order inmates. We run the inmates up and down. We serve warrants here. We serve injunctions here. The perimeter squad, they handle people coming in with drugs. We do trespasses here. We do a little bit of everything. It's almost like a sector within a building. It's like this building is its own individual sector. So
let's maybe go through some of the different jobs here. We'll start from the outside because when you get here, you start from the outside of the building. What's perimeter security? Talk about that.
Perimeter security includes everything outside of the building, the public defender's building, the state attorney's, judge's garage, the cop's lot, loading dock, people that come in. We have deputies stationed at the front of the courthouse at the security lines, monitoring people coming in and out of the courthouse.
So what are they looking for? Like when you're posted outside on the perimeter, what's your job? What are you looking for?
Making sure that no one gets in fights, bringing illegal drugs into the courthouse, bringing weapons into the courthouse, or trying to keep everyone safe.
And I'm actually here doing a video for the sheriff's office for the courthouse. And part of the video process is I shot some video of a gentleman on a Segway. Is that sort of a new thing? I mean, is that just another mode of transportation to be around here?
They've added the Segway about 2 or 3 years ago. It's been around for a little bit. There are Segway certified deputies, and during the downtime, some of the perimeter people, they'll be assigned a Segway, and when courts go down upstairs, if you get Segway certified, you can ride around the perimeter and make sure everything's safe and secure and look for suspicious people, suspicious packages.
Are you Segway certified?
No.
No. Have you ever been on a Segway?
No.
No, you have no desire to do that.
No.
They're kind of fun, actually, but I can imagine around here there's lots of sort of obstacles to go around. So maybe that's not your thing. So you mentioned that every now and then people try to bring drugs and weapons in here. I mean, is that a normal thing?
Yes. Yes, we get people that bring in marijuana. I mean, you name it, they bring it in. And it's always, it's not theirs, but put on someone else's pants.
So what do you do in that case? So let's say I come to court and I have a traffic ticket, and I happen to have drugs on me. Like, what happens?
You get arrested.
Okay.
They do the same paperwork, same procedures as they would do if they were out in patrol.
So basically the lesson there is don't bring your drugs and weapons to the courthouse.
Correct.
Is that usually the excuse though? I didn't know I had this firearm?
These aren't my pants, or I didn't know that was there.
Is this like a daily thing, or?
It happens quite a bit. It's not daily, but it does happen. Interesting.
I mean, it just seems like such a obvious thing to not bring your illegal things to the courthouse, mm-hmm. but it just seems easy for you guys too to, you got them here, you might as well arrest them. So going beyond perimeter security, like once you get into the building, there's people sort of watching you right when you get in. There's 2 deputies, I think, sort of stationed right at when you go through the metal detectors.
Yes.
What's their job?
Their job is to make sure everything runs smoothly, and then if the security company that we have, if they find anything on the people as they're searching and scanning them, then it's our job to intervene and take law enforcement action.
And so those are separate jobs. When you do come to court, whether you're a jury, you're part of a jury, or you have to go in front of a judge, you have to go through a metal detector. You have to put it's like going through an airport. You got to put all that stuff. That's a separate company that deals with that.
Yes.
But if something were to come up, that turns into a job for a deputy.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So then I think a lot of times when people will stay to the side where if you're here for a court appearance, you might go into a courtroom and there's obviously a judge and there's some lawyers, some attorneys, but there's usually a few deputies in the courtroom as well. What do they do?
The deputies in the courtroom, they make sure the judge stays safe. They make sure the public stays safe. They transport inmates back and forth to court. If someone is, it's taken into custody, we call it a remand. If the judge sentences someone to jail and they're remanded, we take care of putting them in handcuffs, processing them, and taking them downstairs to the jail.
So what's the training like for that?
It's 4-week training. You work different courts. You go to we have outline stuff. We have juvenile, we have BRC, we have mental health, we have a COI, a POPCO, Winter Park. We have all those different outline courts.
Okay, so it's a 4-week training course, and you learn how to, I guess, work inside of a courtroom because it's different than maybe being on the road or working somewhere else. Why do people, and I don't want to say end up here because some people start off here. I mean, how do people work at the courthouse? How does that work out? Like, do people apply to work here, or do people get assigned here? How do people end up here?
I think it's a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for you, I know you started here. Mm-hmm. I mean, what's sort of the benefit of working at the courthouse?
The benefit is, I think it is it's Monday through Friday. You got your weekends, your holidays off. You meet a lot of people. I mean, there's so many different entities in this building. There's the judges, there's the clerk's office, there's state attorney, public defenders, defense attorneys. I mean, you just meet so many different people.
And what's the reaction with because a lot of people that are coming here, they've had some maybe a bad day in their life
yes.
where they were arrested, and this is sort of arrested or given or charged with something, I should say.
Correct.
And they come here to either plead guilty, not guilty, go in front of a judge. I mean, what's it like with the public? Are they usually pretty polite, or can it sort of get out of hand?
A little bit of both. I mean, you got some people that don't care what you say. Mm-hmm. They're going to be rude and disrespectful, and then you got people that appreciate you being there. So It's a little bit of both.
So let's go back. So you said you started in the mid 90s in 94, and you started at the other courthouse, which this is before my time. I moved here in 2010, so this was a little bit before my time. But the original courthouse was over where the Orange County History Center is, which is closer to downtown, Central and Magnolia. I always get these roads mixed up.
Yeah.
Okay. So what was it like working over there? Because it's a way different building.
Another big difference. The building, this is a bigger building. Back at the old courthouse, we didn't have individual elevators for judges and inmates and the public, so we shared elevators. So when you had to transport inmates to certain courtrooms, you would have to commandeer the public elevators. So that was a big safety concern because you're bringing these inmates through public hallways, and these inmates there's victims' families, there's defendants' families, so it's a safety issue.
Okay, and here everything's sort of in one big building, and I guess there's a lot of different courtrooms here. How many courtrooms were at the old one?
I do not remember the exact number. I mean, there's a lot more here.
Yeah. And part of that is, Orange County has grown over the last 25 years or so, and so I'm sure we ran out of space over there at the other courthouse, and then this one got built, and then I guess everybody transferred over here. All the deputies came over here to work. I want to ask you about, like, a lot of times people see this building on the news because there's always news folks here. They have their little their place to park out there, and they're covering trials and cases. And I'm sure you've been a part of some maybe higher profile cases over the years. I mean,
yes.
I just in the last 10 years, I know since I've been here. Before I started here at the sheriff's office, I was a news reporter, and so I was here during the Casey Anthony trial. I did a little bit of work for some other ones, but I mean that was sort of the biggest one since I've lived here. What's it like working here during a high-profile case? I mean, is it a different protocol, or is it different than every day, or is it sort of the same thing?
It's heightened security. Security's heightened. You need more people to work a high profile, more deputies. There's different parts of the trial that you need more people to work it.
And speaking of maybe the Casey Anthony one, where were you at during that one?
I was assisting with the jury sequestration, so I was over at the hotel.
Oh, okay. So like, what was your job there exactly?
Well, while the jurors were there on the weekends, they didn't have court on Sundays. So I worked out the Sundays, and that was family visitation day, taking them to the pool, taking them to different places so they could go eat, entertaining them. It demanded a lot of manpower.
I'm sure. Oh, I mean, as everybody knows, it was a huge case, and it took a lot of, as you said, manpower from all over. I'm sure it was the deputies here, the Orange County Sheriff's Office. I know working in a newsroom, I mean, we had 10 reporters on that one thing. Was that the only time you've ever worked on jury sequesters? And
no, I've had several other ones also.
That happens often. That's not just like a high profile case thing.
Sequestration happens probably once or twice a year, but there's other high profile trials. It's just there's not one that lasts as long as Casey Anthony's did. Has
that been the longest one since you've worked?
Since I've been here, yes.
And I remember I didn't actually cover the actual trial, but I was here the day the verdict came out, and that was
yes, it was. There was hundreds of people outside.
There was 101 because I was one of the extra ones. I was shooting video that day. So I mean, what do you do on those days? I mean, are there just deputies all over the perimeter, and I mean, was that just like a all hands on deck type of day?
Pretty much, yes. Whoever was available was out there.
So how do you train for something like that?
Well, your experience in the courtroom before you have high profile trials should give you enough experience to handle situations like that, and you always have senior people that are there to assist.
All right. So I'm going to go back to just kind of working around here at the courthouse. So let's say I'm a deputy and I work here at the courthouse. Am I assigned like a particular judge every day, or is it a particular courtroom, or how do you get assigned and how do you end up where you go?
Well, each squad has about 5 judges assigned to them, and you have about 10 to 12 people, depending on what kind of court you have, assigned to a squad. And the supervisors will assign those deputies to the judges. Now, I mean, some judges, they'll finish a little bit earlier, and the deputies will get sent to another courtroom. And sometimes they get sent to other squads to go assist other squads. So, I mean, yeah, they have one judge, but they do work for other judges. They're not solely just assigned to that one judge.
And I've heard, like you said, different judges sort of have different time frames of when they work, and this was being explained to me earlier that sometimes some judges start at 9 and some start at 10:30 and some start at 8:30, and so because of that you have to sort of change your shifts with the deputies, or at least get them to the right courtroom at the right time.
Correct.
Which I'm sure is a I don't want to say a scheduling challenge, but I'm sure you just got to make sure you have the right amount of people at the right amount of courtrooms.
Yes, it can be.
So like right now, you've been here, what, 20, oh man, I'm terrible.
25 years.
25 years. Well, what's your job now? What's your everyday job now?
I supervise a squad. I have, right now at the current time, I have like 11 people under me. I have 5 judges. I take care of scheduling. I take care of whatever needs my deputies may need. If I need to go fill in because we're shorthanded, I'll go fill in. If they have, they get backed up in court with inmates, or they take someone into custody, which we call a remand, then I'll go in there and assist that. Daily issues.
That reminds me. So let's say I do bring drugs in and I get arrested. What happens then? Do you have to take them to the jail, or do you call somebody, or how does that work?
We actually process all the paperwork and we take them down to the jail ourselves. We have pool cars here, so we check out a pool car, and the deputy takes them down to BRC.
Okay. So instead of, because I'm sure that happens, like we said, well, somebody brings something in or a firearm, but even when things happen inside the courtroom, I'm sure there's types of cases where things get a little heated, maybe,
yes.
Whether it's a divorce case or maybe it's some sort of trial. You see this mostly in the movies and on TV where, somebody starts yelling at the judge and then the deputies have to run in. And does that happen here? I mean, does that happen every now and then?
Yes, that happens.
Okay.
That happens all the time.
So what's the protocol when that happens?
Deputies address the issues in the courtroom, whether they remove that person from the courtroom or they give them a warning. The judge sometimes intervenes and tells them, if they disrupt the court again, they'll have to be asked to leave.
Okay. And then can they get taken to jail for that? Or?
If the judge holds them in contempt of court, yes.
Okay. And it's the same thing where you would escort them over to the Orange County jail?
Yes.
Okay. All right. There's not like an on-premise jail or anything like that.
There's a holding area downstairs.
Okay.
They only take warrants and remands down there. For new arrest, we would take them down to BRC ourselves.
Okay. Explain what a remand is again.
A remand is when the judge sends someone to jail.
Okay. So
if they get time in jail, like they plead guilty to a charge and the judge sentences them to 30 days in jail, then we take them into custody, we process the paperwork, and we take them downstairs. That's when they'll take them. If someone comes into court and they have a warrant, we run the dockets. We get things called the dockets. We call them dockets, and that's the whole schedule for the whole week of what the judge has. We run those dockets for warrants. So if someone comes in and they have a warrant, we go ahead, and depending on the nature of the charge, the type of charge, if it's a misdemeanor and we don't feel it's going to be a security issue, we don't take them in right away. We'll just ask the judge, can you please call this case first? They call the case, then we take them into custody, and then they'll process them downstairs for us for warrants.
Okay.
If it was something like a warrant for murder or a violent crime, we go ahead and take them into custody right away.
Okay. And you also said this is besides that, you said there's a holding cell in here?
There's a holding area. Yeah, it's a holding area.
Oh, okay.
It's a bunch of cells because we transport inmates over here.
Okay. Oh, okay. That makes sense. So if you're awaiting trial, but you're at the Orange County jail, and you got to come over here.
Yeah, they bring them over here.
All right. All right. I don't think I've ever seen that, which is probably a good thing. So, well, I think I've talked to some other people that work here that they might be like in specialized units that maybe, I don't want to say patrol, but if something were, if there were an emergency, are there special units for that work here at the courthouse? If there was, I don't know. I mean, I'm going to bring this up because I know it did happen here in Orlando. It was before my time. I believe there was a shooting at one of the courthouses. Was it the federal courthouse or was it here?
It was the Orange County Courthouse. I wasn't here back then.
Okay.
I was at the old courthouse.
Okay. But obviously that can happen, not just here in Orlando, but it can happen anywhere. And so are there special units for that here at the courthouse that would handle that situation? Or is that everybody? I mean, if that were to happen, it's everybody.
They have a special team. It's the CSRT team. They train for events like that. In that event, they would, if we had an emergency, they would come in and assist. They would take the front center stage until SWAT got here, or we called in OPD. We have different sectors we can call in to help us.
Okay. All right. So they're trained for that in case that were to happen, and
Correct.
hopefully it doesn't. But that's why you train for it, because you if it does happen, you're ready to go.
Correct.
So what do you like about working here? I mean, you've been here 25 years or so. I mean, what do you like about coming to work here at the courthouse?
I don't know. I feel like it's a family.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the people. I mean, I like helping people. I mean, just because they come to court, you're still helping out victims' family members, people that are just, people that have to pay tickets. They're lost. They don't know where to go. Yeah.
I mean, I've been here before. I got a seatbelt ticket one time. Actually, I might have just paid that one. It's funny. I used to live like 3 blocks from the courthouse. And I was coming to work one day when I worked at the Orlando Sentinel, and I didn't put my seatbelt on, and I should have. And there was an Orange County deputy that pulled out of the courthouse building on his motorcycle and saw me without a seatbelt and gave me a seatbelt ticket. Although I don't think I had to. I just paid it. I wasn't going to fight that one. So what about like the people that come in for jury duty? I mean, do our deputies help with them as well? Make sure they know where they're going?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So is somebody assigned to escort them, or?
If the judge calls for a jury panel, one of the deputies in the courtroom will go down and they'll let them know down there, hey, we need a jury panel for Judge Clark, for example. Mm-hmm. And they'll go down, they'll get the jury, they'll escort them up to the courtroom, and then we have a way we call them in and have them seated in the courtroom.
All right. So a lot of people, as we said earlier, a lot of people, when they think of Orange County deputies, they might think they all work on the road, or they're all in SWAT, or they all work in helicopters. But we have a lot. We have more than 160 that work here at the courthouse. Is there sort of a misconception about this job?
Sometimes there is, yeah. I'd have to say.
Do you think it's, a lot of people think this is where you might go to retire, or maybe you go towards the end of your career, but that's not always true.
No, I think that people just don't realize how much we do here at the courthouse, because what they see is people in courtrooms sitting around during hearings, which is, they don't see the whole picture. They don't see what we do before. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people that come here and work and assist from other units that come and assist us, they see what we do and they're like, I didn't know you guys did this much.
I think there's a lot of jobs like that. You think, oh, they're just, teachers. Well, they just work 9 months out of the year and they go party for 3 more months. Well, it's not really like that. So I'm sure it's the same like you said here. I'm sure there's a lot that the courthouse deputies do that you don't really realize it unless you actually come out here and do it for a few days or weeks.
Correct.
And when I was doing this video for the sheriff's office, which should be up online any day soon, and I talked to a woman. She's a deputy here, and she was younger, and she's like, I wanted to be a road deputy, but I didn't think I was ready for it. And she actually came here to work first, just so she could sort of get a feel of what it's like to be a deputy. Mm-hmm. And also, she mentioned that one of the reasons she wanted to come and work at the courthouse is because she could get better trained on how to I guess appear in court or
Testify.
Or testify. Yeah. Is that a normal thing that people want to just sort of better themselves to be deputies, but want to start here?
Yes, that happens. It's a good stepping stone for people that aren't prepared to go out into patrol.
Why is that?
I just feel like they get a little taste of how to communicate with people. You know, you communicate all the time here at the courthouse. Attorneys, judges, clerks, defendants, victims' families. You learn what to do and what to not to do out on the road because you see what happens in court, what motions are granted, which are suppressed. They learn how to testify. That's a big one.
Yeah, and that's really important when you're a deputy because if you don't have practice or, like you said, you don't see it every day, you can kind of maybe, I don't want to say get lost, but maybe you're not as well trained as somebody who is sitting in a courtroom every single day and they're like, oh, I know what works, what doesn't work, what to say, what not to say. And I can see where that would be a benefit for a deputy who's maybe new that wants to be better when they might go out on the road.
Yeah, and you have more people around here that have experience. So if you're unsure about a situation you encounter, you always have someone right there to assist you.
Yeah. Are you interested like in the law and stuff? Not the law on your side, but like when you go to cases or you sit in on cases, like is it interesting or is it just like to you it's a job?
No, it's interesting.
Oh.
I mean, every case is a little bit different, so it's interesting. Yeah, you learn a lot. You learn just as much as attorneys sometimes.
I'm sure if I needed an attorney, you could probably do a pretty good job if I needed one.
Sometimes you're sitting there and you're like, okay, object.
That's fun. I mean, I'm sure, doing this for as long as you have, you're right that you sort of get, I don't want to say get the hang of it, but you figure out some things and you say, yeah, like, how come that attorney's not doing this? Or I would do that. Or that's really interesting. And I'm sure you get to know a lot about maybe the other side. I want to say the other side of the law, like you said, the state attorneys and the prosecutors and the defense attorneys. That's fascinating. How about like somebody who is coming here to the courthouse, whether you're on a jury or maybe if you're going to go in front of a judge, do you have any tips for them? Like what you should do when you come into the courthouse?
My opinion is just be respectful.
It doesn't seem that difficult, but I'm sure some people that might be hard.
Sometimes.
What about just getting here early?
Yeah, getting here early too, because we do have issues with the elevator sometimes.
And that's kind of a thing. We'll talk about that for 1 second. I know I've been here a few times. Like I said, I was on a jury, or I didn't get picked to be on the jury, but I had jury duty. And I might have been here for one or two other things. But one of the sort of jokes about the courthouse is the elevators can be a little tough here.
Sometimes they do.
It's just because there's so many courtrooms and there's so many people trying to get to different levels that getting here early can be a good thing.
Yes, it could be.
So we're actually sitting in an office right now doing this podcast, and we're looking out a window, and I don't see him right now, but I'm going to have you tell me about these, Danielle. There's some cats that live around here.
They're stray cats. They live around here.
Is this a new thing or is this always sort of been here?
No, they've been here for a long time.
Do you like the cats?
Yeah, they don't bother me.
Do you name the cats?
No, I haven't personally named them, but they don't. I mean, you see them around. They don't bother anyone.
Do you know how many there are? Are there usually like a bunch or?
Sometimes there's a lot, and sometimes you don't see some for a while. I mean.
They just sort of live in the tree. There was one that was in a tree a little bit earlier. There was one that was eating some food over there. And so if you ever make it down to the courthouse and maybe you get here a little bit early, you might see some cats.
You might see some cats hanging out.
How about do you guys ever get pulled into the wedding ceremonies here? Don't they do weddings?
Yes, no, not unless there's an issue.
Oh, okay. Hopefully there's not an issue on your wedding day.
There's that room deals with different. It just doesn't deal with marriages.
Oh,
it has different stuff in there, divorces.
Oh, okay. So so let's say there is an issue somewhere. I mean, do they just call you on your radio and say, we got to get here, you got to get there? How do you know kind of where to go and what to respond to?
We have our own individual communications center here, just like on patrol. Ours is a little different, but they monitor the building. They put out calls for service. The clerk's office might call and say, hey, we have someone in here that's being disruptive. They're yelling, they're screaming, they're not getting along with the clerk. We get called to that. They call us for warrants. They call us for injunctions that need to be served. And sometimes we have alarms. We have alarms in this building, and alarms will go off. And in the communication center, they can see where the alarms are going off.
Really?
And they'll call us to respond for alarm calls.
Okay. All right. So you're sort of in contact with kind of everybody in the building if you need to get there quickly. Somebody else was mentioning how every now and then there'll be, I think he said there was like higher profile judges that'll come here, not just judges that work here. He mentioned like
visiting judges.
What's that? I mean, what happens when that happens?
Then we need extra people.
Why would a visiting judge come here? What's the point of that?
Sometimes the judges that are here need assistance, and they'll bring in additional judges to work on their docket while they're working on their own docket.
Oh, okay. All right. Interesting. I had no idea. So I gotta ask, when a lot of people, when they get their mail and they get a jury duty, they're not happy about it. Some people are, but some people aren't. Do you ever get jury duty?
I think I've had it once.
All right. Did you have to serve on a jury or work?
No, I was waived.
Maybe for some people that could be a perk for being a courthouse deputy. That maybe it's not a guarantee that you're not going to get on a jury, but it might be a lawyer might not want you on that
no,
jury.
Or you might have worked for the judge.
All right. Well, Danielle, thank you so much for chatting with us. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I just think a lot of people don't realize that we have so many deputies and people that work at the Orange County Sheriff's Office that work here in this building 9 to 5, usually around 71 degrees inside the building. It can be a great job if you're looking to work here at the Orange County Sheriff's Office, or even if you work at the Sheriff's Office now. It's a great place to come over and maybe learn something and do something different. So I really appreciate you sitting down and chatting with me. And for everybody else, thanks for listening to Behind the Star, and we will see you next week. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to Behind the Star. You can find us wherever you get your favorite podcasts. Also, follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Until next time, I'm Jon Busdeker, and this is Behind the Star.